I was going to Los Angeles for an audition. I'm flying, I have my guitar, and I'm walking through the concourse, and I see two hats coming, and it was Terry Lewis. He saw me, and I saw him, and I got big eyes, and he was just like, "You play that thing?" And I said, "I do." I had my demo CD, and I gave it to him, and he said, "What kind of music do you play?" And I said, "Country." And he said, "No, you don't." And I said, "Yes, I do." And I said, "Here." And so I gave it to him. By the time we landed, there was already a phone call from them. We stayed a couple extra days and waited for him to come from where he was going and come back to LA, and we had a meeting. And they offered me a deal the next day.
Hi, I'm Ben Earle, and this is my brand new podcast, Country Roads. It is so nice to have you with me. This is where I sit down with some of my favorite country artists to talk about the places that have made them who they are, the landscapes that have shaped them, the cities that have influenced their music, and the roads they've traveled down to find that sense of home. Kind of if their lives are a collection of postcards, where would they be from? Now, this is where together we find out. This is Country Roads. Now, the word trailblazer gets thrown around a lot these days, but my guest today is truly deserving of that title. Rissi Palmer is the founder and host of Color Me Country Radio. She's an amazing artist and I love her music, but she's also an advocate for Black artists in country music. She is a mother, a proud mother, a teacher, an author, and just an all-round, just amazing person. And a laugh. She'll make you laugh a lot. Her album Revival made it onto the Rolling Stones' top 25 country soul albums of all time. And she's one of only 9 Black female artists to ever chart on Billboard's country charts. It's not just her music that's had an impact, though. It's her work advocating for others that has brought her an even greater sense of power and purpose. Now, Rissi has had 2 lives in country music. One as a signed artist who had to walk away from a contract that just wasn't right for her. And then one as a storyteller and a champion who refuses to shy away from the truth, but more importantly, let any other person of color be denied an opportunity to make the music they love. Rissi is also the perfect person for this show because she's moved around so much, so her roots spread far and wide. I'm so interested to hear which places have left the biggest impression on her and the ones that she has immortalized in her music. This is Rissi Palmer. Rissi, I'm so happy you are here on Country Roads, my podcast. Emma and I, my producer, you were one of the first names on our list. We have to get Rissi on the podcast, honestly. Because I love you so much. We had a chat a long time ago. There's so much to chat about. I just want to say one thing. You told me a story when we first met about the worst show you'd ever had. And
you're
losing them. I mean, we haven't got time to go into the whole story, but whenever I'm on stage and the gig's not going like 100%, I just have your voice in my head going, "You're losing them. You're losing them."
That's literally, now that has become the battle cry in the band. And so like the guys are always off mic, but I can hear them in my inner ears. And so they'll start saying it in the middle of a gig and like we'll all start laughing. But no one in the audience knows what we're talking about. So yeah,
it's honestly stuck with me. And you've got so much great energy as well. I mean, I was looking at your story and I really want to we're going to go sort of through chronologically with your story a bit. But have you always been that outgoing, that sort of loud and friendly and in a nice way? You know what I mean? Because you started off in church, didn't you, singing when you were like 5 and you recorded your own songs at 4 as well or something?
I was, well, first of all, to answer your question, I'm going to start at the very beginning of all the things that you said. It is so good to be here with you. Love you down. And I'm so excited about your show and like all the things.
Thank you.
And okay, so we've moved past that. All right. Yes, I have always been this. This is Rissi Palmer always. It has always been Rissi Palmer Concentrate from the very beginning. Yes, I started in church, and actually I just found the footage from the very first performance in church.
Wow.
And
were you standing on a milk crate?
I'm 4 years old. Mm-hmm.
I love that.
And I'm 4, and it was Easter Sunday. And that was the Sunday that everybody found out that I was not scared. And so the following Sunday, I was in the choir after that. The best part about this video is that my mother's voice is in it, and she's helping me because for the listeners, my mother passed away when I was 7, and so it's now been 37 years since she's been gone, and so the rare moments I get to hear her voice are like really, really special, and so listening to this video is just, it's like cake.
It's funny, this podcast. This podcast is all about the places that have shaped us. And I saw you have moved around a lot, but
Yes.
we don't talk so much about, being a singer, particularly that how much an effect a voice does have on you, the sound of someone's voice. And I was going to come to your mom, but, hearing her voice on that must be so emotional for you. I mean, did you have many memories of her voice?
I do. Like, it's funny because my uncles and my aunts, my mom was the oldest of 8.
Oh, wow.
And so a lot of them tell me that I sound like her.
Wow.
And that sort of thing. And so I don't have a lot of firsthand recollection anymore, just because, I was a small child. But hearing that video, I was like, gosh, we really do sound a lot alike.
I've got 3 kids. I know you've got 2 girls, haven't you? And I'm exactly 38 now. So when I read that in your bio, I was just like, the impact we have on our children's lives is just so massive, isn't it? And it must be so emotional. I can't imagine watching that.
It hit me especially hard when I was 38. I was pregnant with my now 6-year-old, and I was just like, I can't imagine not being here at this age. You know what I mean? And how young 38 feels.
Yeah.
Because it is 38 in the grand scheme of things, like in a normal lifespan, 38 is very young.
Yeah.
And so it just, on the other side of 38, it just feels really unfair.
Your song, Old Black Southern Woman, I think I read you said that song, getting old is a privilege. You said, I'd never thought of it as that. I mean, can you talk about that song and also the sort of, I read you have a lot of maternal influences in your life. You sound like so many like strong women in your household growing up.
I was really fortunate. I hear a lot of times about, in particular Black women, like, the motto of Black women is step aside, I'll do it. And that's a lot of what I grew up with. My mother was raised by my great grandmother, and my great aunt, my great aunt, and so many women in our family. And so my mother found out she had cancer when she gave birth to me.
Wow.
And so, and she was 31. And so everybody, like the village kicked in my family. And so my paternal grandmother had a hand in raising me, my maternal grandmother, my great grandmother, and all the aunties. I had an auntie that came and lived with us for a few years. So the village, I had incredible godmothers, like my namesake godmother, Big Rissi, as we affectionately call her. So many people had a hand in helping to raise me. And then my father remarried, and I have an incredible mother now. So I wanted to write the song to just say thank you. And like each one of these verses is a different woman. Like my grandmother was the one that walked around in her garden barefoot. And my great grandmother was the one who would never, ever, ever go to church without a hat on. And
that's like my granny as well. My Jamaican nan, exactly the same. Very proud Black lady.
And yes. And my mama had a different color hat for every dress that was in her closet. And so I come from that, man. And like and my paternal grandmother was the one that like, you come over to her house, she's sitting out on the porch making some sort of dinner or getting ready to have dinner. I don't know how a full course Sunday meal was always ready anytime you went over there, but that's how it was. And so, I just want to say thank you to them. And I also, I'm 44. And in music business, what is that, like 106? And so I just, so, most of the time at this point, you've been put out to pasture, child. And so I rather than feeling bad about being 44 years old, I'm actually I feel like I finally get it now.
But that sense of family is so important in country and in music, isn't it? To give you that grounding, the fact that you felt confident at 4 and 5 to stand up and sing in church in front of all those people. Did you think that family is really important for you, your confidence in you as an artist?
Yes. I don't think I would be standing here without my family.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, because they were the first audience. They were the first people that, I'd subjected to my singing. And like my cousins, I tell this story all the time in my show, but like my cousins were my first audience, and aunties and uncles, and the copious amounts of aunties and uncles that you have, like you just said, that you're not actually related to, but they are, for all intents and purposes, they are. And those were my first people. Like, it was always someone would come over to my grandmother's, or someone would come over to my parents and, Rissi, come down here and sing. And so I'm standing on top of, a table singing The Greatest Love of All, and and breaking it down, or like playing my toy baby grand piano or something like that. So yeah, I'm not here talking to you without my family.
I love that. And you talk about that in your song Somerville as well, where you paint those pictures. I mean, talking about food. I mean, you don't hear in songs and music a lot of people writing about food in a way that it doesn't always translate, but the way you've done it, if you don't mind, I can quote your lyrics to you. You take ham bone and flat green beans, turn a bare cupboard into a feast. Even those 2 lines alone just set that picture. But if you didn't have nothing, you couldn't tell me. You always had my cherry ice cream. And those 4 lines together, for me, just paints a perfect picture of that those summers in Somerville. Would you consider that place in Georgia, is that kind of like home spiritually for you? Because you went there every summer, didn't you?
I did until my great grandmother passed away, and I'm trying to remember how old I was. I think I was like 12.
Oh wow! Gosh.
I might have been 11 or 12 when she passed, but I got a really long time with her, which was really, really amazing. Yeah, I do feel like that's spiritual home. I mean, and it's spiritual home for a lot of reasons, because my mother is buried there. And that was one of her requests. She specifically wanted to be next. She wanted to be in the same plot as my great grandmother. Unfortunately, she went before my great grandmother, but they're together, and that was really important to her. And so, yeah, I do feel like that's a spiritual center. Georgia, it as a whole is, because that's where my mom and dad are from.
It sounds like it's such a great, like, as I said already, a great family. Firstly, was country music in the house?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what kind of things were you listening to when you were younger?
So it was country, gospel, and then, of course, R&B. So like I have very vivid memories of Patsy Cline.
Oh, wow.
Kenny Rogers, Dolly Parton, Shaka Khan,
wow.
Phoebe Snow, James Taylor, and Aretha Franklin, especially. And so those are the people that fed me. And then as I got older and started developing my own musical taste, I started to gravitate towards like the Judds and Trisha Yearwood and people like that, Jamie O'Neill, Vince Gill, and so on and so forth. I tend to like the more soulful country, the country that sounds a lot like gospel, like stuff that you would hear in church.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing. So those are the people that I feel are responsible for me.
It's funny. What I've always loved about your music, though, all the artists you just listed as well, is they're obviously great storytellers. And I feel like your songs, we're going to get into some of them a bit later, but the stories you tell are so like direct and so vivid. Like, did you come from a family of storytellers, or they all sat around? Were you just, I want to say, but my experience of growing up in a black, with my Jamaican side, like, it's just, I mean, it's like being at a stand-up comedy gig sometimes, isn't it? Everyone's just telling stories. Was it like that for you?
Yes, I think there's something to I don't want to single us out, but like there is something to I think the overall just the global, not just Black American, but just the global Black experience that lends itself to humor in the face of adversity. And also just like hyperbole a little bit. And just these big stories and making everybody laugh, and there being a punchline or there being like a way to tie it up really nicely. Yeah. And I grew up, my mother I remember being a little kid and sitting underneath, they had a couch at the edge of their bed, my mom and dad. And this is my biological mother, and her being on the phone. And I remember thinking my mother telling stories and talking mess about people was one of my favorite things in the whole wide world. And so I would lay underneath this couch so she wouldn't hear me, because she closed the door so I wouldn't hear her cussing and whatnot. And I would record her.
Oh, wow.
So that I could listen back to it, because I just loved her laughter. I loved her candor. I loved the slang, like some of the snarkiness.
That is amazing.
And everything. And I get in trouble all the time, but I did. I adored her. And I wanted to be able to play it back. I don't know why in my little mind, but that's what I was doing.
I mean, I can tell just from that, your confidence from that young age, that family, that sort of, just that amazing grounding has given you that confidence to say, I'm going to be a musician. That's what I want to do. I want to be an artist. I want to be a singer. And it's funny because I read that you had this chance meeting at an airport and your life could have gone down the pop route.
Very much so.
So what happened there?
And I would be at pasture right now. No. Okay. So I'm living in Atlanta at this time. I'm about 19, about to be 20. I left college and I'm living in Atlanta with my managers at the time, who were two Black women that were primarily working in rap. But, and we're from St. Louis, where I eventually moved to and spent formative years. And we're trying to break into country music. And so I had a publishing deal at this time. So I was going back and forth to Nashville. But, their roots were in, as I mentioned before, hip hop. So we would spend a lot of time going to Los Angeles and going to New York and that kind of thing, trying to work their connections, while also trying to foster Nashville connections. So anyway, I was going to Los Angeles for an audition for a Philly cream cheese commercial. This is back when they used to do like they'd have the angel wings and you're eating the Philly cheese and you're singing. And so I had done a remote audition. They liked me. I sent a video. Children, this was back when you had to make videotapes. So I made a videotape. We sent it. They liked me and they wanted me to come and do the audition in person. So I'm flying. I have my guitar and I'm walking through the concourse and I see two hats coming, and it was Terry Lewis and from Terry Lewis and Jimmy Jam. And he saw me and I saw him and I got big eyes and he was just like, "You play that thing?" And I said, "I do." And so I reached into the back of as any good artist back in the day, I had my demo CD and I gave it to him. And he said, "What kind of music do you play?" And I said, "Country." And he said, "No, you don't." And I said, "Yes, I do." And I said, "Here." And so I gave it to him. By the time we landed, there was already a phone call from them.
Wow.
And they wanted to have a meeting. So I did my Philly cream cheese audition. I did not get it, but
their loss.
We stayed a couple extra days and waited for him to come from where he was going and come back to LA. And we had a meeting. And they offered me a deal the next day.
Wow. Oh my gosh. But you don't take it.
But I didn't take it. No, because once we started planning and started talking about the record and what the record was going to be and who I was going to be, they made it very clear we love that you love country music. We love that you're doing all these things, but what we do is pop. And so we'd like to maybe do like an acoustic pop thing with you. And, can you dance? And I was like, no. So
Can you
the foil in the plan. So I was like, I'm with it. I want this. I want the Janet Jackson 6-pack. I want the makeup, the clothes, all of that. I just can't dance. So so I just, I had to think about it. It's like, do you want to try this other thing? Or do you want to keep going with the thing that you've been trying to do for years now?
What was it really at the core that made you, there must be something, I know you talked about what was going to happen, but was it just because you were just country, you just loved country music so much? Was it that, or was it just, what was it?
There's a myriad of things. I really loved country music, and I really wanted to stay true to what I was doing, because at that point I'd been writing in town and I had a couple holds and that sort of thing. And I felt very comfortable there in that space creatively. And then too, there were like things with the deal that would kind of foreshadowing, that would show me what was going to eventually happen to me. But like they didn't want to include the managers. Oh, okay. I had a production deal, the kind of production deal that they're not legally allowed to do anymore.
Yeah.
And Terry Lewis and Jimmy Jam, I think, were trying to, in their way, save me. But I wasn't ready to be saved yet. And so I probably, for that reason, I probably should have done the deal.
Yeah.
Because it would have gotten me out of a really predatory deal that I was already in.
Yeah.
But those two things were the two reasons why I ended up not taking the deal.
It's so fascinating to me that then sparks you to, you're staying in New York at that point then for quite a while, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're working in like a retail...
Yeah, right after that we moved. Mm-hmm.
So you're working in a retail store in New York and, chasing the dream still. I mean, I did the same thing. I worked for Apple. I worked at the Apple store.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I was like working at the Apple store in the day, then writing songs, whenever I could, and I had a couple of things that were very close, and you kind of dream. But there's a song, isn't there? I want to get onto your songs very quickly, but before that, Autumn in New York by Billie Holiday, you said that was an important song for you. Does that take you back to those days walking along the streets of New York from your day job to,
New York, I will always have a deep, abiding love for New York. So many parking tickets, but I grew up, like that was college for me, because I dropped out of college my freshman year to do this, to do music. And so New York, I count as college. I started singing. I mean, like that was where the hustle came from. Like my work ethic and all that I developed in New York.
I have the same thing in London. I say exactly. I say university, but the same thing. And what kind of some spots in New York? What were your favorite spots? Where were you hanging out?
I used to, Lord, none of these places exist anymore, but I used to work. So I worked in Soho. The clothing store that I managed was in Soho. So I would either take the train or I would drive, because I lived in New Jersey because it was too expensive, child, to live in New York. So I lived in Fort Lee, New Jersey, and I would take the train or the ferry or whatever over to Soho. I'd work. We used to love to go, like there was this club called Ruby Falls and we would go there like almost every weekend. I had friends that dated an Italian boy whose father may or may not have been a lawyer for the mob. And they would take us to this little island that's like right outside of, it's like a party island right outside of Long Island. And we would do that on the weekends sometimes. And like Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
That was that is who we were kicking it with. And it was just, and we had a ball. And I used to go to Harlem a lot. And there was this restaurant called Kitchenette that was open 24 cafeteria in Soho. That's where most of my memories are around food. Like, it was either a club and then you go get the foods.
What's the best food? So, the one thing from New York, if you could fly to where you are right now, what's the one thing you'd eat?
Okay, so I love Jamaican food.
Oh, really? Okay.
But only in New York.
Okay.
Like I don't like it anywhere else because I don't think it won't taste the same. Like a beef patty.
Oh gosh, so good.
And some
good.
rice and peas.
So good.
Yes.
So good.
That's my thing. Or like some jerk chicken over the rice and peas.
Yeah.
Yes, Lord.
So you know what I love about this? We're talking about New York, rice and peas, jerk chicken, and you get a record deal as a country artist. I love that. It's just like it's amazing because let's get to it because it's the mid 2000s. You get signed, and then you have this massive breakthrough hit with Country Girl, which I find it just incredible to me. You were the first Black woman in 19 years to chart on the Billboard Hot Country Singles Chart, which is just bonkers in itself. I mean, what was that experience like for you? Because suddenly you were sort of, I guess, everywhere.
It was, I think for the world, it was just like, where'd she come from?
Yeah.
But like at this point, I had been shopping for a deal for 7 years. I was 26 years old when that happened. And so it was like all of these years of struggling and everything I was finally getting invited places, and I was being invited on tours, and I was playing on television and all these things. That was finding out about the 19 years, for example, was really wild because I think in my mind, I knew that the odds were kind of stacked against me a little bit, but I was not really thinking about it so much because you're young. And so, you're invincible and you think that you're special and like the rules don't apply to me. It'll be fine. And when it finally happened, I was like, oh. Like it was like that kind of thing. And so I finally started thinking about the ramifications of that. But it was a fun time. It was really fun. And I enjoyed myself and like all the newfound experiences that I was having. And then at the same time, this is like the beginning of the internet. And so, wow, that's a really crazy statement to make. But it was like the beginning of it was kind of the beginning of social media. Like there was MySpace and Facebook at the time. And so now I'm seeing like nasty things written about me and I'm starting to get like, racist hate mail and like that sort of thing. And so it was a scary time. It was a really exciting time. And I've probably never worked or traveled as hard as I was at that moment.
It's so funny with that song, isn't it? Because, it's sort of ironic that the song is about country as a state of mind. And yet you are country, your upbringing is country. And, it just really irritates me that people would then be mean to you because you don't fit the mold of what they think country should be. And that must have been so hard. I mean, you were mid-20s, must have been so difficult for you. Like,
it was just like, why is everybody like, I was genuinely, my feelings were hurt. And, 44-year-old me looking back on that, knowing the things that I know now about the politics and the way so much of this is a reflection of like a larger system. I don't take it personally anymore.
Sadly, or maybe not sadly for you, the things of the label then just fall apart after that, don't they? Which is crazy. Being single then falls apart.
Oh, honey. Like it's just, I'll give you the cliff notes, but basically the record company was formed by a man with good intentions, but not a lot of experience. And a lot of really not great business choices that led to us eventually, a lot of bad personal and business choices from him and from me as well, led to, it just was not sustainable. And it wasn't something that I could or should go forward with. And so then, like right when the momentum was building and things were good, and we probably should have put out a second album, was when I had to leave. Yeah.
And you end up personally bankrupt as well, is that right? From legal battles of the deal and stuff.
Yes. Okay, so I'll give you guys this will be like my TLC behind the music moment. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So The record company did not want to put out a second album because they would have to pay me in advance. And so, but if they re-release the album, it prolongs the amount of time that I have to promote that album, the said album. And if you just stick 1 or 2 new songs on it, they don't have to give me in advance.
Okay.
And the record company at that time was not paying any of my band for the promotional shows anymore. They just stopped paying them. But because the band was loyal and like we had, grown into family, they kept going. And I didn't know until we had gotten it 3 months of no pay. And then they finally were like, hey. So I had to pay them almost $15,000 out of my own pocket.
Wow, gosh.
To just get them to continue to get on the bus so we could continue the tour. And I was also signed to a publishing deal with this record company. Same thing. I don't get advances if you're not promoting the things. And so all of a sudden, like, that's why I did No Air, because they were going to tack No Air onto the first album and then re-release it.
Gosh.
And I didn't write that.
Yeah, it's just so rough. It's like, I've had that success, and then I don't want to get bogged down because there's so much more I ask you.
No, but that was what happened.
Yeah, it's rough. It's horrible. I'm so sorry you went through that. But obviously, that you spend a bit of time in Nashville after that, and then I love getting to this part of your story because then you move out of Nashville with your husband. You move to North Carolina, and I mean, you picked out a song. Is it John Randall's North Carolina Moon? And I hadn't heard that song before. I've actually written John Randall, but I haven't heard that song. I mean, with that, did you find, was that time about healing almost from going to North Carolina? Was that what it was about?
North Carolina has been, is home and probably will always be home for the rest of my life. And, it was where, for a long time, it was really good, like really, really good here. And it still is. And my babies came from that. And I rebuilt Rissi.
And you're still there. Next time you'll be there, you think, yeah.
I'm talking to you from Durham, North Carolina, from downtown Durham, North Carolina, from my home. So yeah, I love it here.
You're in North Carolina. And I guess this is where your album Revival comes out of. Because, I mean, you've won accolades. It wasn't named one of the 20 best country albums by Black female artists of all time by Rolling Stone. That's amazing. What an achievement. And it's there's a couple of songs on that record which break my heart. I talked earlier about how much of a vivid but also straight down the line storyteller you are. And you've got the song You Were Here, firstly, which is just heartbreaking, Sage's song. Can you tell the story behind that one? Because it just kills me every time.
Yeah, no. Well, thank you for bringing that song up. It's one of my favorite songs that I've ever written. When I started working on this album, I had a miscarriage in the middle of working on that project. And it was one of the most devastating things that's ever happened to me, and made worse by the way we were treated at the hospital and all that kind of stuff. But that's a story for another day. I wanted to, I'm one of those people that I have to put it in song. Like, that's how I get through things. That's how I compartmentalize things. And so that was one of the first songs that I wrote, getting through it. And it's funny, I got pregnant with my now 6-year-old maybe 3 months after that miscarriage. And so I recorded, she was in my belly while we were recording Revival. And so Revival is really special to me for that reason. Because she's in there the whole time, even when I'm singing that song. And I wanted to memorialize my baby, and I wanted to also be vocal about miscarriages, because I think there's a lot of stigma, and a lot of women blame themselves, as I did. And so I was just like, why is no one talking about this?
Yeah.
Because so many people in my village came to my rescue and told me about miscarriages that they had. And I had no idea. No one talks about it. So I wanted to talk about it.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's amazing to me that, we say country is 3 chords and the truth. And, there's a lot of the same stories being told. But how many songs are there about miscarriages that are, that really bring it up and you talk about it like you did? And I think, I urge everyone to check out your album Revival, because there's a few stories on there that are just amazing, and you definitely deserve that accolade. I really want to get to Color Me Country because I feel like that is on your kind of story arc almost. It's just the perfect. You got Revival, which is a bit of I don't want to put words into your mouth, but I can hear a bit of frustration and sort of pushing against the trauma you said you've had. And then when I first met you, you just started Color Me Country Radio on Apple, and it was new. The whole thing was new, and it was giving a showcase to people Black artists, particularly in country, and saying there's a whole story that's not being told here of these artists. Firstly, I want to get into how big it's got because it's amazing now what you're doing with Color Me Country. It's huge. You. But what was it like when you first started that show? Were you nervous about having that show?
No, at that point, I was just like, I was done because I didn't, I wasn't working in Nashville exclusively anymore. Everything was North Carolina based. And so I wasn't scared anymore. Because I think there's a unspoken thing when you first come to Nashville, when you are a person of color. And I don't think it's limited to just Black people. I think Hispanic people feel it. I think anybody that's other feels it. Where you don't want to draw attention to your otherness, but you want to say something about it. But again, you don't want to other yourself. And so I no longer felt the need to hide and not talk about it. And so I went into it very confidently.
Your show is and the whole Color Me Country thing, it's so positive in what you do because it could be so easy to just bash and just be like, oh, it's not fair. Whereas what I love about what you do on the show, and also with the live show you do at Long Road Festival as well, you really sort of showcase these artists, but also tell the story of the truth of where country music came from, or part of the story of where country came from. And do you feel like you have a kind of renewed sense of purpose with Color Me Country?
Absolutely. It was. I call that chapter 2. This is this is more like chapter 3, but in the grand scheme of things. But no, it really is the day that Color Me Country debuted is the day that my career started again, and in a different way. And I think my purpose, my why, changed with Color Me Country because it wasn't. Thank God. To not have everything focused on me.
I was going to say, because I think most artists, when they start out, it is about yourself, isn't it? When you're that 4-year-old, 5-year-old kid singing in church, it's like, I want to be a star. And then having this chapter 3, as you say, like actually I've found in the journey I've had, that the sort of secret to being happy, it seems to be to not focus on yourself. It seems to be to focus on the fans or to focus on the other artists. And, like I said, seeing that spark in you when I hear your voice on the show, but particularly at Long Road, the Long Road Festival here, you have the front porch stage. I mean, that must be amazing for you being on that stage. People are camped out all day in front of the stage, and you have a bit on the main stage as well. I mean, the UK must have a special place in your heart for that as well, because we are a bit more, we don't really care who is who. We just love the music.
No, I love y'all so much. Like, I really, really do. I did not realize how much I was going to love the English people, but I do. Like, I do. And I love how open the audience is there. I love how honest the audience is there. And I love how respectful y'all are. Like, I'm an American thoroughly. But, playing a country festival in the United States is way different than playing a country festival in the UK.
Yeah.
And thank God. But no, I do. I and it's a pleasure because I didn't get the opportunity before this chapter to play in the UK.
Yeah.
That was like the holy grail. Girl, if you get to go overseas, you've done something. And so that was kind of the impetus behind making the stage.
I think it's brilliant. We're running out of time. I just want to say very quickly about your relationship with Alice Randall, who's a big mentor of yours. I mean, I've done a program a while back about the history of Black artists in country music, and I know Professor Alice Randall. She's so knowledgeable, and especially with the Beyonce record coming out. But she's a good friend of yours, isn't she? A good mentor.
I love her. I call her my fairy godmother.
Just to add to the other godmothers. You haven't got enough.
Yes, to the fleet. Yes.
Got a couple more questions, Rissi. We'll have a quick fire very
Sure.
quickly. I just want to say, I think your resilience is just so inspiring through, all those stages and all the things you've been through. I think, and to have the platform that you have now to help others, I think you're just an inspiration. It's not really a question, is it? I'm just telling you how great you are.
Oh, Ben, I feel the same way about you. I didn't know the 14-year-old, so you're a lifer too.
Yeah, well, I'm a lifer.
You're a lifer.
Just very quickly before we get into quick fire, where do you think that resilience really comes from? Why do you keep going?
I come from resilient people. I just, we come from resilient people. Yeah. I am my ancestors, and I am my ancestors' wildest dreams. And so I've got to model that for my girls. So that's honestly where it comes from. On the days where I don't want to, I think about them and how I don't want them to quit things. So yeah.
I love that. Rissi, thank you so much for that. I've got every guest, we have some quick fire questions, if you don't mind, before you go.
Yes,
I know you've got oatmeal to tend to.
Well, that oatmeal is gone.
That was gone.
Now I know it is.
Just before we started recording, Rissi was talking about her daughter was complaining about the seasoning of her oatmeal. Yes. There's too much honey, not enough cinnamon.
Not enough cinnamon. The ratio was off.
I think she's going to be a star. That'd be on the rider. The backstage rider.
She is.
So we have quick fire questions. Rissi, the strangest place you've ever written a song? It can be a one-word answer if you can. Might be hard for you.
Nashville International Airport.
Oh, wow. Oh, I wish I could ask more, but I can't. The place you most like listening to music?
On my hot girl walks. In my headphone.
Your hot girl walks. I have to ask what a hot girl walk is.
I call them, those are my workout walks. Like, because I'm an old lady in the knees. So we got to take care of the knees and make sure the knees are good. So in honor of Megan Thee Stallion, who has the best knees ever, I take hot girl walks every day, 45 minutes.
How
3
does
miles.
someone have the best knees?
Megan, look, go to Megan Thee Stallion's Instagram and you will completely understand why I say Megan Thee Stallion has the best knees. And I need my knees to stay like Megan Thee Stallion. So hence the hot girl walks.
Okay, wow. That's going to be the most interesting thing we've ever had in this podcast. I'm going to look at Megan Thee Stallion's knees. That's the takeaway from this episode.
She got good knees. She got good knees.
Okay. Just go. The place you go to when the world feels a bit mad and you need to slow down. What's that place for you?
In my bedroom, with my kids.
Oh, I feel
like sitting in the bed together.
My kids, the same thing. It's just, for all this craziness we do, isn't it? It's just, they just really ground you and get you back to.
They do, because they don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care. As long as, and that's a testament to good parenting, I think. When the kids are not freaking out.
Yeah.
Even though you are, then that's good. You're loving on them and protecting them in the right ways. So yeah, they're my safe place, and I hope that I'm theirs.
I love that. That's such a great way to end as well. Thank you, Rissi. Thank you so much. I can't thank you enough for coming on the podcast.
Thank you, Ben.
Honestly, it's great to have you on Country Roads. Do check out Rissi's show, Colour Me Country, and you can see her at Long Road Festival every year now. You're a part of the furniture. Rissi, thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been an honor. Thank you.
Rissi is such a special person, and like she said, she is all concentrated. That makes sense. There's no dilution. She's just full on Rissi. I love her. She makes me laugh so much, and we had so much in common with her upbringing. It was so nice to chat to her. I'm so grateful for her sharing her stories with me today. Be sure to listen to Colour Me Country Radio on Apple Music, or catch up on Apple Podcasts to all the old episodes. And Rissi's new single, Old Black Southern Woman, is also out now. If you're enjoying these episodes, and I really hope you are, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below so that we can reach more country fans. They are out there. You're out. One subscriber really does make a difference, so thank you if you're already with us. This is an original production by Spiritland Creative, produced by Emma Roberts, and presented by me, Ben Earle. I'll be back next Thursday with more. I hope to see you then.